Hello, this is DD Gaming's Nurski coming to you live once again with Game 2 of LiquidTLO versus TLO. So if you haven't seen the first set, I highly recommend, or the first game in the set, I highly recommend you go back and watch that before watching this game, as there is likely to be spoilers in Game 2. So first spawning down here in the south as the red Protoss, we have LiquidTLO. Then spawning up here in the north as the blue Terran, we have LiquidTLO. This is going to be on the map MLG Dallas Caverns. This was the map picked by LiquidTLO after losing Game 1. There is 2 Dallas towers located in the middle of this map. Rather wide open crevasse in the center that creates several choke areas in the middle of the map. There's 2 gold expansions in the middle of the map, one for each player. These are blocked by destructible rocks. There's also a third expansion from the natural for the players, located over here, also blocked by destructible rocks, but there is a secondary ramp that you can actually start the expansion before actually connecting it to your natural to your main. 13 gateway going down for LiquidTLO, and he is going to scout after that. We have a 12 barracks going down for LiquidTLO, going with a rather early 13 gas for TLO, so that's a bit early than you would normally expect. But TLO is the master of unconventional playstyles. Scouting probe going to be coming up here for LiquidTLO in just one moment here. Going to see what TLO is up to. Going to see that he is working off of 1 barracks and a gas. So no kind of 2 barracks play coming from TLO. Going to try and harass that barracks a little bit, taking the barracks down 40 hit points, so just softening it up. First Marine is about to pop out. Orbital Command has begun for LiquidTLO on 16, so very standard stuff coming from both players right now. Tyler getting his Cybernetics core right after this gateway finishes up. See what he's going to build first out of the gateway. Is going to build a Zealot right away, so very similar opening builds to their previous game currently. Do have TLO scouting SCV coming into the base of Tyler now. Is going to see what Tyler is up to. Interestingly enough, Tyler is actually taking his gas as his second gas as TLO has his SCV scouting. This will tip TLO off. That is more likely than not going to be some kind of a 4-gate build. Not that it couldn't be, but just less likely. TLO doing some harassment in the back of Tyler's line. Tyler does have that first Zealot out now. Going to try and shoo that SCV of TLO out of his base. Doesn't want it messing up his mining. Chrono boosting out his first range unit, which is going to be a sentry once again. Very similar play to the last game. Then additionally, back in TLO's base, we once again have a very fast factory. It'd be interesting to see if he does some of that same Hellion Marine type of pushing that he did in the previous game, or if he'll do something a little bit different. Is actually going to get a Hellion out right away. So very similar plays to the previous game. Tyler trying to come in and scout the front with his probe. This probe is going to have a very short lifespan with those 4 Marines, as they do quickly pick it off. Tyler now getting a robotics bay after his Cybernetics core, so an identical build for Tyler so far right now. Deviation now for TLO as he is getting a reactor. Nope, decides to cancel that. Going for a tech lab on his factory, putting a reactor on his barracks, and is building a very fast expansion command center. This is a very interesting play. TLO sending 2 SCVs to do the job of 1 back in the side over here. We'll quickly fix that though. TLO now scouting forward with his first Hellion. He's going to see that LiquidTLO has not expanded yet. Would be a little bit early for an expansion as we are only 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. Tyler going up to 3 gateways now. Going to be chrono boosting out his first observer. Wants to know what TLO is up to. Gateway tech is just now going to finish up. So we do have warp gates now for Tyler as these 3 gates come online. TLO now taking his second gas. Command center is going to finish, and a siege tank for TLO. So he is building siege tanks. So going for some kind of a marine siege tank play currently at this point. Wouldn't be surprised to see him build a starport relatively soon. Maybe go for that Raven tank marine Hellion push that has become a little more popular with Terran recently. As this does kind of lead into that build when you have the reactor barracks with the tech lab on the factory. It's going to get another siege tank out now. First observer for LiquidTLO is going to get in TLO's base now. see what TLO is up to. Starport is indeed going down for TLO. TLO does spot the observer. They're running some Marines out. Does not have stim even started yet. Wants to try and pick off that observer if he can. Does not want it hanging around his base. Does indeed have enough energy for an orbital on his orbital command for a scan, but will not be able to pick it off. Is researching siege mode now for his tanks. Meanwhile, back over by the base of Tyler, he has now expanded. Also is building immortals from his robotics facility. So he wants to be able to deal with those siege tanks. Immortals are a pretty decent option to try and deal with siege tanks. They do kill siege tanks relatively quickly. Soldiers running off of 3 warp gates right now. If we bring up the supply tab right now, we do have 34 workers for Liquid Tyler, 33 for LiquidTLO. Army supply TLO with a slight advantage. TLO now likewise moving out. Siege mode will be finishing up shortly. Building a forward bunker. Doesn't want to be having any pressure. Knock out this expansion. We'll land that and most likely transfer his SCVs right away. Going to be getting both of his refineries up right away. Doesn't want any delay at all. Meanwhile, back in the base of Tyler, we do have a Twilight Council going down. Be interesting to see what kind of a play he's going to go with this. Could go for Charge Zealots, Blink Stalkers, maybe even Dark Templar. There is currently no engineering bay down for TLO. Is indeed getting a Raven out, so we may see some kind of a push once that Raven pops out. Point defense drone is very good. And also researching Blue Flame for his Hellions, so a very interesting play, as well as building additional Hellions after getting out just a couple of tanks. And then TLO, being the crazy Terran that he is, going for an extremely fast 3rd command center, getting this well before even the 10-minute mark in the game. Tyler now has started Blink back at the Twilight Council, so we do know what he is going to be doing with that. No DTs or anything like that. Raven has popped out, going to pick out the first observer. Second observer looks like it's going to back off for Tyler. Doesn't want to get that picked off and have to replace it very quickly. And then TLO adding 2 more starports as he builds a Banshee now out of his existing starport. Also going to swap that factory into making a tech lab. Probably wants to be able to research STEM. So a very interesting play by TLO, going very air heavy with 3 starports and just a single barracks and a single factory. Very interesting play by TLO. TLO actually now moving out, moving forward. Looks like he's going to start attacking those destructible rocks for his gold base with his Marines. Wants to expand there very quickly. A couple of Hellions moving forward for TLO. Going to check and see if Tyler has a 3rd base. Maybe try and swing one on the back. Not going to get very far with that though. Tyler has blocked that off with 2 pylons. So he is going to have to turn around pretty quickly. It actually doesn't even go up far enough to see it. Tyler now researching hallucination. Maybe going to use that to scout. Doesn't want to lose his observers. TLO does a quick poke forward. Decides to back up. But then TLO swing in from the right with a couple of his Hellions. Blue Flame has finished picking off 1 probe. 2 probes. 3, 4, 5 probes going down to these Hellions. Hellions definitely paying for themselves. If we bring up the Army Supply and Worker Supply tab, we do see TLO swinging into the lead, 47 to 45 workers now. Army Supply actually dead even at this time. Tyler warping a few units. After that attack, Tyler looks like he's going to try and push out. Doesn't want TLO to get too far ahead. TLO with 2 tech labs on those extra starports he built, even building a 4th starport, adding barracks as well. All with tech labs, making Banshees out of all of them. Raven does have enough energy now to use point defense drone. And TLO has expanded, but Tyler is going to be picking off this expansion. His forces moving forward. Nothing much TLO can do. Does not want to engage this army right now. Unsieged tanks do not do very well against Immortals. Going to pick this base off rather easily. Maybe a little bit too greedy of an expansion for TLO. Tyler is going to back up, however, right now. Hallucinating in a whole bunch of Immortals. Taking a page out of the book of Huck, possibly. Is going to start pushing forward with just a handful of those Immortals. Some of his other army lagging behind. Siege tank attacking those Immortals. Banshees going forward. Blink Stalkers blinking in forward. They want to pick off these Banshees. He needs to get these Banshees down if he's going to have any hope. TLO quickly pulling back the Banshees. And all the Stalkers are dead. And Liquid Tyler is going to have to GG with absolutely no way to deal with the Banshees. On an amazing game. Very fast paced. Very quick, sudden end to that game. Awesome set by both players. TLO showing us that just absolutely crazy chaotic style of his and taking the series 2-0 over Liquid Tyler. This is going to be Ken Nursky Decker for DD Gaming, saying peace easy for now, guys. I will see you at the next broadcast.